My purpose and passion is to ignite fire into others. I encourage everyone that I come across to let them know that don't let these mountains of distraction, this defeat, right? What should be a setback, don't let that set them back. Like it's just the setup for success.
Hi everyone, this is Raina Carrillo with Purpose and Passion, and today I'm really excited because you know that I love me some lawyers, especially women, because they're strong. I'm just like, they're strong, and I love to be around strong-minded women. Today we have a personal injury lawyer, Darlene Trevino. Thank you so much for blessing Purpose and Passion with Luxe Media. So excited. So I want you to take the viewers down memory lane. Like, how was your childhood? Because, you know, on our show, it's about, you know, purpose and passion, but it's also about teaching awareness, empowering, inspiring, and educating our viewers through your story, Darlene. And through, you know, it's a beautiful thing because people are going to be inspired and touched by your powerful story that I heard at the Women Empowerment event. And that's why I got you here today, because if I'm inspired, everyone is inspired.
Thank you. Yeah, you know, I've had quite a journey to get here as a lawyer. And for so many years, I was really shy about sharing my story. I didn't want people to know my background, where my parents, the family that I was born into, because I was scared of judgment. So I really hid from that. And it wasn't until maybe a couple of years ago that I finally broke out of that shell. And I said, you know what, if this will help someone and if it will empower someone else to break the barriers of their family cycle, right? Whether that cycle is poverty, whether it's gangs and violence, prison, drugs, whatever that cycle of defeat is, if my story will empower them, then why be so scared to share it? Why be so stuck about me and what people are going to think of me? Who cares about me? Let me get out the way and let me actually let that story come into play. So growing up, yeah, I grew up into a family where my dad was incarcerated before I was born, and my mom, by the age of 5, she became a really heavy drug addict, and by the age of 9, we were removed out of custody from her, and we were placed, luckily by the grace of God, we were placed with our grandparents, but we were still considered wards of the court, so we were still in the foster system, but we were not with foster family.
Wow. Well, I'm going to tell you something. Just hearing your story is very powerful because I reflect back on, you know, individuals that have similar stories, you know, and they're either dead or in prison. You know what I mean? And just to have you, Darlene, like, I mean, just sharing your story and your testimony. Not only are you just a successful lawyer, but you decided to become a businesswoman, opening your own law firm. And so you went through your trials and tribulations, but God has always kept his hand on you with grace and favor. And I'm just so grateful that you're able to share this story because, you know, with my background, you know, I'm considered a second generation gang member. You know, my father was a gang member. My mother was a gang member. I grew up differently than, you know, other children and in the 80s and the 90s. And so when I think about like where we're at as women, we're a success story, you know, and it's for me when I meet somebody with a similar background as myself, it makes me feel like it's my little tribe. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you have a tribe of women for so many reasons, but I feel like totally connected with you just
Absolutely.
to you know, just be just so honored to just hear your story and just know that you're succeeding. So let's take the journey of you know, when you were in high school, did you want to become a lawyer? Because when I was in high school, I think I just wanted to be at the time I didn't think I was going to live to be 18. So I was more of like, I'll just do medical assisting because that's what my mom has me doing to make extra credits to graduate. And I'll just be a medical assistant. But deep inside, I had two goals that I would have loved to have done if I had the right people around me, right? One of them was to join the Marines, and the other one was obviously, to be mayor of Inglewood. The reason why I wanted to become a lawyer is because I seen a lot of my homeboys being put up in prison wrongfully, like the Rampart scandal, that was going on in Inglewood. And so I wish if I would have had more of a purpose in life at that time, I truly believe probably I would have been a criminal lawyer to protect my people in the community. But it didn't go that way. And so just, tell the viewers like what was your goals at ninth grade and through the 10th through 12th? Like how was that lifespan for you as a teenager? How was your life at that time from 9th to 12th grade?
Well, I always had an idea that I wanted to be a lawyer. But don't get me wrong, I wasn't on the path to become a lawyer. So in the back of my head, I wanted to be a lawyer. It was put in my mind since I was in middle school. So I started when I 13, 14, 15, I started just rebelling and being angry and started feeling the spirit of rejection and loneliness. So I was because of this false identity that I had on myself, I started to do really bad in life. Just being really angry, and so getting in fights, just being disobedient, not listening to my grandparents, just causing all the havoc that there was as a teenager to cause. So even though my mindset, maybe in the back of my mind somewhere, I was like, I wanted to be an attorney, but I definitely wasn't on the path to be an attorney. So I would encourage people, even young teenagers that want to do something, it's never too late to actually get started. It wasn't until the 11th grade I was supposed to go and become a senior, and I actually did not I didn't get all the credits that I needed because I didn't go to my finals. I didn't show up to any finals. So I ended up failing all my classes for 11th grade, and I had to do 11th grade all over again. It was such a heartbreak and just like, this disappointment. Like, how much more can I make my life horrible, right? Because the only one that was truly facilitating this life of mine of destruction was me. So I realized that this was not the life that I wanted to live. So finally, when I made it to 12th grade is when I started to, or actually the second year of 11th grade, right? Because I had to do it twice. So the second year of 11th grade, I started going to classes, getting my work done, showing up to classes, which is the biggest thing, and applying myself. And I said, okay, I want to become a lawyer. Let me try. Let me see what I can do if it's even possible for me. So that was the beginning of my journey.
Wow. I love the fact that you're being very authentic and transparent and sharing your story because the youth, especially the youth and young adults need to hear this because you're right. It's never too late to do what your dream is. And that brings me back to being the age of 15, wanting to be mayor of Inglewood. And finally last year, I am 44 now. So 43, last year I was 43 and I ran for mayor. So that's a huge gap. You know what I mean? And sometimes we are our own worst enemy, right? We can stop ourselves from the fear of failure, the fear of rejection. What would they think? Could I pass this test? Could I pass this state bar exam? Things of that nature. But what would the advice for you to send a message out to the kids that think that way? What would be your advice to them?
Do it. Do it without fear of failure. Don't hold back, because it's not about the what if I fail, but what if you succeed? And that's the biggest thing. And trust me, we all go through it. Even now, me as in my 40s, when I went to open up my own firm, I was scared. It was a huge thing for me to step out and say, okay, I have to find, my own clients and run this business. So it's now no longer just being an attorney, but it's also being a business owner and running staff and running payroll, right? Being the leader. So that was very intimidating. And same thing, I was so scared. And what if this doesn't work? What if this doesn't work? But then I thought, but what if it does? What if it does? And what if the legacy for my family, right?
Yes.
From gangs, I came from addiction, jail, all of this. But I know that God always been, not just me doing it by myself. But if I put my faith in God and if I do succeed, now this legacy of my children stepping into it, and now it's, oh, my mom was a lawyer, a business owner, and then they could step.
Yes.
Now think about my grandchildren, that my grandchildren will say, oh, my grandma was a lawyer. Like, how incredible is, to
Yes.
that feeling of, wow, we're literally paving a way for a new generation and culture in our family.
Which is so important because one day we're all going to be ancestors. You know what I mean? When we're no longer here and we have our legacy that we leave behind. And I think that's just truly inspiring. I remember my pastor saying, like, once you get baptized, you're renewed. You know what I mean? Like whatever your parents did and their parents did it cuts off with you.
Yes.
And I love the way you shared that. Like, my mother, my grandmother, my great grandmother was a successful lawyer, and also, it's inspiring too because, being a lawyer is a male dominant industry and you're a woman and you're Latina,
Yeah.
which is so powerful for me because that's a statement that women of color, we're no different than a European male. You know what I mean? Like we have the same ability, the same drive to be successful, to build a legacy for our family. So how does it feel to be around other female lawyers that are Latina or women?
Oh, I love it. I absolutely, it's like a dream come true. Like these are my peers. I am the same as them, in that sense of we all made it. It's such a feeling to have. Like it's incredible to know that I've achieved this level, right? And it
Yes.
doesn't end, like it keeps going, but definitely every time it's so good. And it's exciting to know that. So I look for those. I look for the events that where it's Latino, Latina, where it's uh, just driven by women, driven by attorneys, driven in that sense of culture, because we get to share. It's this identity that we still get to understand each other at some level.
Yes, I went to the first, if I'm correct, the LBA. It's the Latina Bar
Far.
Association.
Uh,
Yes, and so I was at City Club and I met Gina, and Gina invited me when I was running for office, and just to sit there and just see how she is and how she works, man. She's
our
man, very powerful, very powerful and humble. She's a little firecracker though. Yep, I think because she's Latina, right? We're all little firecrackers.
exact.
And so I was amazed about the event to the point where like people reached out to me saying, Raina, can you do workshops for the parents in Inglewood? They've been talking about immigration lawyers. And so I reached out to the organization LLBA, and so they gave me two contacts, and they were like, they can help you do the presentation for your community. And so I was letting them know, like, even though I'm not a lawyer, I would love to be a part of the association as a community leader to use the resources and build relationships with these Latina lawyers in different sectors. Because when you're a community leader, you need all the resources you can, to help your community. And so it was inspiring to see female Latina judges, lawyers, successful CEOs, and I was just like blown away. Like, wow, like
Mhm.
I know our ancestors back in the day, Cesar Puedes, Cesar Chavez, all our leaders before us. I know
Mhm.
they're very proud of us and where we have, where we're going, where we're going is so important. And so, what is your purpose and what is your passion, Darlene?
My purpose and passion is to ignite fire into others. I encourage everyone that I come across to let them know that don't let these mountains of distraction, this what should be a a defeat, right? What should be a setback, don't let that set them back. Like it's just a setup. It's a setup for success. And I truly want to inspire people. I want to encourage them. I want to lead them to the Lord. I want them to know that God is for them and God will never leave them. And that's one of my biggest things when I could walk. And I know that I walk in victory. I know that I walk in success. I know that I walk in a leadership mentality because of my right standing. So I'm able to come with the authority to say, hey, you can rise up too. Because a lot of people are defeated and they are broken down because of society, because of the fallen world that we live in, because of the things that have happened to them. And I I get it, right? I get it, but at the same time, I don't believe in complaining. I don't believe in the pity parties, the poor me. I don't like it. I don't allow people to for room. I don't give them room for that. Not that I not that I don't walk in compassion, but it's just if they live in that, they'll never truly see the true blessing in their life, right? If I that. I was like, poor me, poor me. That's why I was so angry all the time. Like, oh, I don't have a mom. I don't have a dad. My mom keeps leaving me. Like all of this. But then I realized, wait a minute. No, this is on me now. I need to do something. Things in my life need to change. And once I was able to apply myself, use certain situations, right? When I was able to apply to college, I started at a junior college. There was one box I got to check off and it said, are you a ward of the court? I was. And so I got free college. So that was a setup for me because no one in my family was going to be able to afford that. And I for free college, I was able to get a counselor that was specifically designed for, I forgot, I think it's EOPS that I'm part of. I took advantage of those things. So I know you were talking about research, and that's something big. People need to ask for help, because not everyone is for the community, not everyone is for people, and if you ask for help and they don't give it, it's okay. It doesn't mean everyone's like that. Go on to the next person. How did you do what you did? What steps do I need to take? What's that roadmap? And then go from there. Figure it out. Use that are out there. But absolutely, people in the community, building up our community, changing the trajectory of families, and not everyone needs help, right? But just some people, it's just a motivation or a let me give you a better roadmap, maybe.
Definitely. So, can you explain to the viewers what is a personal injury lawyer?
Yeah, it's we deal with negligence with tort law. So primarily it's when someone's causes an injury. So for me, it's a car accident. So anybody that's been in a car accident, motorcycle, truck, those type of accidents. It also falls into the category of slip and falls. People think like, oh, it's there's a lot behind this with falls, though. It's not like everyone just falls, and there has to be you have to prove some type of negligence because stores they have a duty to protect their patrons, but they also can't find everybody trying to keep every aisle clean at every. But yeah, mainly car accidents, slip and falls are what we do. We represent people injured from these car accidents.
Okay. And so my next thing too is separate from the personal injury lawyer, can you give us an example of one of your hugest, biggest, you know, um, success stories as, as a client, your client wins due to, your expertise, can you explain like one story that you can never forget because it was just one of those stories where it was like a success story, but also, it's a good story to tell.
Yeah, I have a couple. I have this kid, teenager comes in, he just walks in and he says, I found you guys on Google. And he's a little nervous. He says, I was involved in a car accident and the insurance company offered to give me $5,000. I'm like, okay, what's going on? Let me see what happened to your car. How are you feeling? And he's like, I'm kind of in a lot of pain. My neck hurts. And I don't know, what happens if I sign this? It's a paper they gave him. Do I take this check? And so I said, let's get you checked out. So we ended up getting him checked out, getting some treatment going because he actually had a little more pain than, he was expressing once he was seen. Um, People think, okay, if I don't have broken bones, I'm good. I'm not really injured. But there's disc bulges or there's tears on your body that if the eye can't see, but if you do MRIs, you can see it. So he actually had some disc bulges on his back that he had to get treatment for. And so his case, like he had a little bigger injury than he thought. It was just like a little easy, okay, I'm fine. We ended up settling his case for $450,000. He walked away with, what did he walk away with? Oh gosh, I think it was $250,000 in his pocket, and he was just gonna start college. So this was able to pay for all his college, get him a brand new car. Like, please, like they could do whatever they want with it, but I, talked to him about getting just putting his money into some kind of IRA, Roth IRA, doing certain things with it. So that was a big one for us, that we were excited that we were able to take care of him, able to find what was going on too, and get the treatment that he needed, and then also get him compensation for him as well.
Wow, that is definitely a success story. He walked
Yeah.
in your office with like a $4 or $5,000 check, and he
Well,
became your client.
$50,000 check. Yeah.
Wow, that is a blessing. And you know what? And what I admire about you as well, Darlene, is the fact that even though the financial industry is not in, because you're a lawyer, what is inspiring is that you were able to like tell him, like, as a just as a big sister advice, like, don't just spend everything, put some aside. That is
Absolutely.
so smart, man. That is so
Yeah.
smart. I love that, because not, most lawyers don't even know. They just say, here goes a check and do you.
And the check, adios, right? Yeah. And it's up to our clients how they want to spend their money, but I'll give them some. I'm like, listen, this is not legal advice, anything, obviously, but
Yes.
options you can have, where you're not, just because they'll walk away with big chunks of money that they've never seen in their lives.
And spend
So
it.
exactly. And I don't want it to be where they just now no money again. And it's just a bunch of things that go down in value.
Yeah. It makes me think about, I'm not going to say the rapper's name, but the rapper was, well respected and known in LA. And when he passed away, he only had $1 million policy. If he would have had the right people around him, he would have had probably more, to leave to his children when he was killed in Los Angeles. And so I always tell people, like, when people get a settlement or they win the lotto, send them my way, because I do financial services, and it's so important to teach them, what's a tax me now, tax me later, and tax me never product, and how to leave a legacy for their family and for themselves, whether it's a retirement or just putting their money in a right place, and just educating them. So that is so, so, so important. And I'm just happy, Darlene, that you were able to give that great information to that young man, because it's so important, because once again, when you don't come from money and you receive a big old check, you know, you spend it all. And just like he said, he wanted a new car. He got that new car. The new car was probably like 20 grand plus, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
And he has to pay for school and, things of that nature. So yeah, so that, I love that story. I love just hearing how you work, that's so important. And then I wanted to know, like, you know, do you have any kids?
I do. I do. I have three kids. I have two, our younger ones are 7 and 9. and then a 13-year-old boy. He's my husband from a prior marriage, but he lives with us and calls me mom. But yeah, so we have three. It's a
That's
two
beautiful.
boy, girl. And they are a handful. They're in sports. No, yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine. Sometimes people tell me, like, you have 5 kids, right? And I'm like, yeah, it's a lot of work. And then they're like, oh my God, 5 kids. I'm like, yeah, but what's funny is that it's like 5 kids with 3 pregnancies. And they're like, what? And
I
I'm like, 3 pregnancy, meaning like my first pregnancy, I had twins. Then my second pregnancy was just baby girl, Giselle. And then the third and last pregnancy were twins again. So I'm all like, oh my God, you got 12-year-old, eight, no, I'm sorry, 12, 10, and 4. And it's
wow.
like, oh my gosh, yeah. So being a mom is a hard job, but it's a beautiful blessing because not everyone gets to experience a blessing, of being a mom. And so that's super inspiring that you're a wife, a mother, and a lawyer, and obviously soon to be in the community on the next level. You know what I mean?
Or no, yeah, yeah,
Let's talk about your dream a little bit. You know what I mean? Like that goal that we were talking about.
yeah. Well, I do want to become like I do, but I don't. I wrestle with this. I want to be in the city. Like I want to be a part of the city to make a change.
Yes.
So yeah.
You
I
have it, Darlene. You have it. Like I'm dead serious. Like you have it. You're a successful woman. You know what I mean? And you're a lawyer, so you know about law, which is very important. You know what I mean when it comes to helping your community. And I can see you as, as a mayor. I can see you as a councilwoman. I can see you as a commissioner. I can see you doing that type of work, because your leadership is amazing. And when you speak, you don't speak afraid, like you're a straight shooter. you know Very
yeah
straight shooter, which
yeah
is really
yeah
good. It's quality. It's a quality. I don't like to talk about our president, but sometimes when he talks, he just talks in riddles to me, and I'm just like, wow.
right.
So so a
Getting
person that can shoot
your
forward and
level.
straight is good communication skills.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's never like a hidden message. Yeah, I'm pretty straightforward with it.
Yep. And so what are you doing now for 2023? What are your vision? Do you have any new goals? Do you, like, for example, do you plan to, write a book one day? Do you plan, to run for office one day? Like, do you have any new dreams and goals for 2023?
For 2023, so I recently applied for the Planning Commission. So we'll find out. I'm not sure the date on when that comes out, but yes. So I did apply for the Planning Commission. I would like to write a book. I'm just not sure when. Like I don't think not this year. I would say within the next 5, 10 years. I
Yeah.
believe that there's more to life to accomplish and then write this awesome journey like story, because I know it just doesn't end with being a lawyer. Not that it's not a bad thing.
Yes.
There's more, definitely. So for
Wow.
here it's just continuing to grow the business. I volunteer to be a part of mock trial, so I'm one of the judges coming up next week, and continue to just be a part of our community. I volunteer a lot. I work a lot with the local veterans out here with quite a few nonprofits. I continue to now partner with them. So really just see how much more I can grow. I'm in this community to help, grow and uh, a sense of unity, a sense of we have your back, and there are the resources lined up should you need it. So for any needs that are coming to town.
Do you have anybody that you like to follow? Like, for example, I'm into Ed Milet, right? Do you have anybody that's in the motivational department to keep you motivated in your life that you listen to? It could be spiritual, you know what I mean?
I really like Joe I
Yeah.
I love listening to him. He's super, he's a prosperity. here. I love it. I love listening to the possibilities because it's not, we have what it takes,
Yeah.
and I like to attack what, oh, like you have what it takes. And you have what it takes. When you partner with God, it's this whole other level, right? God will truly empower you, catapult you to this level. And I love hearing that.
So let's talk about things that motivate you, whether it's an author that writing a book or somebody spiritual. Share that with us.
I currently am reading Joyce Meyer, Do It Afraid. Yes, and she's a no nonsense type of woman that just goes straight to the point. I love hearing her. And in when I get ready, I listen to Joe Osteen. He's a prosperity preacher, and I know he gets a lot of, there's backlash with that, but I truly love listening to the power and the blessing of the Lord that's on us. The blessing of the Lord surrounds us like a shield. I love starting my day that way, to walk and to know that I'm walking with favor, walking with purpose. It's exciting.
Yes, I love that. I actually reached out to Joyce Meyer because I wanted to interview her. I actually found her 5 years ago, and I've been wanting to go to her conventions. She had one 2 years ago, I believe, or last year in Long Beach, and I wasn't able to go. But I also didn't go because I didn't want to go by myself, because I've never been to a big old convention by myself, right? So maybe when I look into her schedule, maybe we both can go together and enjoy,
Absolutely. Yeah, I would love.
Yes. And you know what? And I agree with you. People always say, like, prosperity preacher. You know what? To be honest with you, I always tell people that God doesn't want us to be poor. I read, the Bible, and I read, like, different scriptures. And the one that really, really intrigued me was the book of Job. You know what I mean? And a lot of people always say, "Oh, Jesus was poor," and I'm like, from what I was reading, no, he wasn't, because how can you take 12 disciples, tell them to leave their life to come with him? He had to have some sort of money to provide for all of his
Yeah.
people. And I just think about that. But I believe, prosperity is something that God wants for us. Now it's up to us to try to help ourselves grow financially. Some people are made to be regular workers, right? It's nothing wrong with that. Some people are made to be entrepreneurs. Great. Some people are made to be multimillionaires, so everybody has their own little niche in this world.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And so is there anything you want to say before we end Purpose and Passion?
Let's see. What have we not covered? I just truly want to encourage people to find a mentor, find someone that, whether it's through a book, whether it's through YouTube, or whether it's somebody that's in real life that they could talk to. Find a mentor, the person that you want to be like. I truly believe in surrounding yourself with people that you want to be like, right? They say, what's hang around 5 people, and hang around, what is it, like 5 rich people, you'll be the sixth, or 5 smart people, you'll be the sixth, something like that. I don't know the exact thing, but you'll bring on and adapt what they're carrying. You'll speak like them, you'll act like them, you think like them. So I truly believe in protecting who I'm around. I talk to everyone, but to be friends with people and truly have them in my life is completely different. I am very guarded with who is around me, who is around my children. I don't just let anyone speak into my life. I don't just let anyone, I won't just vacation with anyone or travel with anyone, or just, any of that stuff, because I'm guarded on what are they going to pour into my life. And same thing, right? So I want to be able to build, and not that I'm trying to take from them, but it's just, we want to be able to build, each other up. So be mindful of who you're hanging around with, and make sure that you're surrounding yourself with the right people, because it's key. And definitely find that mentor, and that mentor will lead you to get to where you need to be. Because that was one of my biggest things. I had a mentor in high school. When after not going into senior year, I got a job with an attorney. He was a solo practitioner, really small little. He just rented a room from a bigger firm, so it was just one man show. But he told me the steps, what I needed to do to become an attorney, how I needed to get my bachelor's, get my Juris Doctorate, do those things. And so he basically showed me the roadmap. So I said, okay, this is what I need to do to get there. So I would, take the steps to get there. And that really helped me to finally pass the bar and now be my own boss.
Well, that's inspiring. So I know, I work with youth in Inglewood, so I can't wait for you to, we can pre-plan because I know you're a lawyer, but pre-plan to where you can be a guest speaker to students from the high school that I graduated from that wants to get in law. So then you can be the guest speaker to, inspire them to continue on their dreams and goals of being a paralegal or to be a lawyer. And so how can our viewers find you, Darlene, on social media, or do you have a website?
Yeah, they can follow me on Instagram. I'm at trevino.law. So my last name is TREV like Victor, INO.law, LAW. That's my Instagram handle. And then my website is www.trevino.law. And I welcome anyone to follow me, ask me questions, and I would be more than happy to speak to your youth because youth are big, right? That's our future. So I absolutely think speaking into them, speaking into their lives is key.
Beautiful. They say the power of the tongue can either speak life or death over somebody. So we definitely want to speak life. It's great to meet another woman that is a believer in Christ, and it's great to be around somebody that is successful in her own right, which is so inspiring. And I just want to thank you, Darlene, for just blessing our show with your story. It's very powerful. Okay. And I'm just grateful just to have you here today on Purpose and Passion with Luxe Media. Have a blessed day, you guys. Bye. Bye.
Glutathione is a big word. It's the body's own master antioxidant. It's a scavenger for free radicals, bacteria, and viruses. There are no products in the market with the ingredient NASET. NASET increases the production of glutathione that's in our body already to strengthen and enhance our immune system, elevate sense of well-being, support muscle strength and endurance, cognitive function, and liver support. It helps with increased energy and blood sugar regulation. Get your bottle of GSH Plus from www.salvationnutra.com.